This is Mordant. Welcome to the other side of live.
Welcome to the other side of live. I am indeed your host, Mordant, and tonight we are doing a show called Dating Done Right. We were supposed to do this. I know, right? This is that voice you hear in the machine is my illustrious partner, Charles McFall of the Bear Crawling Nation. Say hello, Charles.
Hello, everybody. I was actually going to get a camera ready for myself tonight because it is a partnership thing, and we could put a little picture in a picture, and I just got caught up at work, and we went old school. It was last minute of, we're supposed to be on the air right now. Hold on.
And of course, this whole time I'm talking to him and making jokes. And what about this? Have you done this yet? And he's still doing a million things at once. But now
that's why I get paid the big money for.
That's why you get paid the big bucks. In fact, here, let me give you that big buck right now.
Oh, I thought you actually pulled a wallet. I'm looking for it.
I'm excited. I almost did, but it's audio, so it really doesn't, unless I do crinkly paper. So anyways, we are in rare form tonight, so please bear with us. We're doing a show called Dating Done Right, and we're going to have a guest come in later on when she calls in, and in about 15 minutes. But until then, we're going to catch you up on our lives. 2 weeks ago, we did a show called Death Happens because some things happened in Charles's life, and so we did a show on...
I died.
He died. I die on stage every weekend, so Charles got the chance to do that. And we just talked about our experiences with, death of family members and intimate things like that there. But this week, these 2 weeks, something different happened. In fact, it was the very next day.
Yep.
Hey, wait, didn't we set that up too?
Yes. I don't remember if we talked about it on the show, but coming into it, there were different things that happened. You're like, I really wanted things to go this way, and the universe just likes me. The universe does whatever I want. It does this, and that when I wanted this, and that. And my wife was kind of being tired of being pregnant, and she's ready to have the baby. She's been having contractions off and on. And I told her, I was like, well, put it out there, the universe, that we have the baby tomorrow. And when I got up a little bit later in the morning, and my wife had already gone to her OB appointment, and our mom was up here working in the studio. And I started coming up the stairs, and you said something to me like, oh, we got to get to work. I was like, I'm not working today. You're like, yes, you are. I'm like, no, I'm going to have a baby.
We had such big highfalutin plans that we're going to actually work on a business plan, do all this creative stuff. What did we do? We sat in the hospital all day. And I actually did get some work done. I brought my computer in.
And I did a lot of videos. I did, I think, four or five videos from the hospital, which are on youtube.com/CKYMNSTR. I think I should swap that.
What does that stand for? Yeah, what does that stand for?
Cookie Monster without vowels.
Okay, there you go. That's much easier. CKYMNSTR, Cookie Monster without vowels.
It was my personal channel a long time ago, and I might just need to swap over. I've got one that says Bear Crawling Nation. I might should just swap over to that.
I also did some recording, but I haven't done anything with it.
Yeah. You did pictures, though. You were the first one to put out the pictures so people got to see him on the net, so that was cool.
Yeah, I tweeted that. That's right.
I don't think you've held him yet, though. Are you afraid of babies? Yeah, a few too many baby scares.
Yeah, they are very frail in the beginning.
Not really. Not as much as you think.
I don't know.
I've already dropped him twice. He seems fine. No, I haven't dropped my kid.
That explains the other two kids.
Oh, no.
Oh, you have a great family. Now you're well on your way to having a baseball team.
I was told along the lines of the family that has the 20 kids. It's a woman, not a clown car.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm not
Hong Kong. So I hope you're appreciating this. I think it's gonna be like this tonight. This is I am. Again, in the Bear's Den, here at the Bear Crawling Nation studio. So it does have that kind of morning show feel to it, which we actually love mucho.
And this should be...
It is calling. Well, right now we have Paige calling in, who is our guest for tonight. But Paige, I'm going to ask you to just hang on there for a few minutes because we still got a little bit more to chat about. You wanted to bring up something called a stress tank and talk about that. Along with all the baby making and baby birthing and everything going on, you wanted to talk about...
Well, it's something I realized going into... I don't think we'll have time to talk about tonight too much. I want to throw it out there, so we'll talk about it next week. Is going into having a third child. The first child, we were totally inexperienced. Had a lot of stress from my own past damage with my family. Had a lot of stress from work. And throwing a kid on top of that just killed me. I mean, it was a miserable first couple of weeks, just up and down and scheduling and trying to figure stuff out. Second kid, a little more prepared, had a little less damage, had been taking care of stuff, had a little less stress at work. Still was, balancing, finding the right balance in life. But this one, man, I'm working from home. I've had a great job for 5 years now. The Bear Calling Nation keeps me happy because we're promoting and pushing and doing and growing and keeps me busy. The marriage is great. The kids are doing well. So my stress level is really, really low. So coming into it, this kid hasn't upset it. And it just dawned on me that an idea I don't want to flesh out with you on another show is we all have a stress tank, like a gas tank, that we have to keep full to a certain level or we're not running. And if you have your car on full, you just ignore it and you keep going. Right. That's where my stress was before the first kid. And that's why the first kid threw it out of whack. And if you get too low, before you find something wrong. I'd find something wrong with work. I'd find something going wrong. I've got virus attacks on the nation that I can never react to. If you get to that half a tank or a quarter of a tank, you're looking for a gas station because you don't want to run out. I think we run stress in our lives that way. Nobody's ever going to be stress-free because we don't know how to live that way.
Right. It also helps keep us entertained, too, through life. Yeah, if you ever go to see a movie or you read a book or anything, story involves conflict. There is no story without conflict. Theater involves conflict. I think the same thing is in our lives. It's all about keeping ourselves entertained. Now, it's your choice whether you're going for positive conflict or negative conflict. I like to call it positive drama or negative drama. So the same thing with stress. It keeps us entertained on some level. Otherwise, we get bored, and then it's just like, okay, let's make something or find something let's go get into some trouble.
Well, that might float right into the topic that we talked about before about the good idea of bad emotions.
The positive of negative emotions.
That's it, the positive negative emotions. So those all can be bundled up.
So I think we're going to talk about this. So basically, this is an advertisement for another show.
On a date. Yeah. But yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out.
But tonight we're talking about dating done right. We actually have a guest who's come in. And my trifecta of dating books that I always recommend to my female friends and anybody that I'm coaching is, of course, He's Just That Into You. The Four Man Plan.
He's not that into you.
He is just that into you.
Okay.
By Greg Behrendt and Liz Tuccillo. Four Man Plan, which is by Cindy Lou, a Chinese.
Cindy Lou who?
Cindy Lou L-U, a Chinese mathematician, and the book by Patti Stanger from the Millionaire Matchmaker, which I cannot remember the name of the book, and. There's just a couple of reasons why I like that book. It's a little very strong on here's how you get married. It's a little strong on that as far as I'm concerned, but she has some very interesting points and I really like the show.
Sharon says he's not that into you.
Isn't that what I said? He's just not that into you.
No, you say he's just that into you. That's why I was.
Well, what's interesting is I've been listening to it on my podcast today, so the fact that
iPod.
On my okay. I obviously cannot talk. My brain is not being connected to my mouth very well.
We do not do well when you show up way early before the show.
Way early.
This is what happened a month ago. You showed up a whole day ahead of time. We came up on Tuesday and didn't have a recording ready. We didn't have Skype ready. We get to playing. We do. We like hanging out with each other. And we just get to mess around with podcasting stuff and game stuff and internet stuff, and we don't get focused.
We enjoy each other's company immensely, which brings us right back to dating done right.
Because you and I did it wrong. So, we did. At least in the state of Georgia.
That's right. That's right. Anyways, so those are the three books that I really like, even if I can't remember what they're called. He's Just Not That Into You. Thank you, Sharon Watson and Charles. And if Greg Behrendt or Liz Tuccillo is listening to this podcast, I'm sorry. So I think what I need to do is just bring in our guest, and let's just have a chat with her. Paige, are you there?
I'm here.
Now, can she be heard over?
Everybody should be able to. I'll turn her up because it sounds a little low. Confirm in the chat room that y'all can hear okay, please. That would be a
Talk again, Paige.
Hi.
Yeah, and we can see her over there on the recording as well.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So everything's good. So how are you doing, Paige?
They say they can hear, but there's an echo.
Yeah, you're on speakerphone. I don't know how else to
Do you
make
have
it any clear.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
She might have stick cam up.
Well, yeah, if you have Stickam, if you're watching on Stickam, go ahead and kill that because you can hear us directly. But I also have you on speaker, so it's fine. It'll be all right.
Well, I don't want to weird them out.
My Stickam on Facebook is rolling.
Yeah, get rid of that because that's what they're hearing. That's where they're getting the echo from.
Maybe Sharon says it sounds fine.
Okay.
Oh, well, Sharon Watson has the
All
magic.
right, hang on.
So Paige has had some experience with the four-man plan, and while she is fixing her thing, I'm going to talk. I tried to find a back of the book blurb for the four-man plan, and I couldn't find it anywhere. The closest thing I got was from a review, and it talks about Cindy Lou combining her self-proclaimed inherently Chinese skills in math and her past dating relationships. Lou developed the four-man plan, a systematic guide for finding the man of her dreams. After applying the plan to her own life, she generously decided to share her treasure trove of dating wisdom with other fabulously single ladies and published her relationship tips in an easy-to-follow gem of a book. And this is from a book review for the four-man plan, and I'll have to give you a link to that later, because I can't read it now.
I gotta say, that's beautiful. You're using your phone to have your notes, and that is actually the way things should be, because it's a perfect screen, fits right in the palm of your hand, and doesn't tap the Wi-Fi out and hurt the bandwidth. So that was beautiful.
You like that?
I'm proud
you
of
like
you.
that?
Good job.
Thank you.
So Paige, you are doing this dating program. Why don't you explain your experience with?
Can you explain what the four-man plan is?
The Four-Man Plan is a plan designed for women who suck at love. It's a plan set up for dating different men, multiply, like 3 or 4 different people at the same time.
Right.
So that you don't get overly emotional or caught up in one person and ruin their relationship.
Right. What I liked about He's Just Not That Into You, and that's the other book that we talked about, is the fact that it when I read it for the first time, it showed me some of the things that I had done in the past and brought out some reasons why I might have done that. But it also showed me what other people might be doing, how to bypass that. Basically, there is no this. The other person's lost your number. There is no. It's like 9 out of 10 people. Chances are they haven't lost your number or anything like that. He's just not that into you. And the book wants you to think that you're that 9 out of 10. You're not that one person. So that you can move on. It kind of is very, very freeing as well, because then you can just move on with your life. Oh, you're just not that into me? Cool. Well, I'm a great person. There's plenty out there. Let's not waste each other's time. The four-man plan, what I really liked about it is, and the reason I like to share it, especially with younger women, is that it teaches women to respect themselves and not just give it up thinking, well, if I give him my body or everything else like this immediately, then he's going to like me more. And anybody who's had any experience in the dating world, that is usually not the case. Again, 9 out of 10 times the guy's going to walk away from you. So it is definitely a book based for women about dating men. It could also be for gay men about dating men. But it uses a man's competition, because the men all know that you're dating other people as well.
Well, I got 2 questions. One's a comment from Mixer. We are going out on Mixer, which is on bearcrawlingnation.com.
This is our first time we've gotten anything from Mixler.
Possibly. I can't remember. I know Rocker will try to put out.
First time Mixler.
On Mixler, Sunbug says that we're to blame for her not doing her housework right now. I literally stop and listen to what you say. Love it. That's her comment.
Awesome.
We got a question from Trailbot for Paige about how does one suck at love?
Oh, all right, I want to answer that one. So instead of throwing Paige under the bus there, my question back to you then, Trollbot, is: are you in a dating relationship? Have you had great dates and great dating relationships in your life? If you have not, if you're single for a long, long time, if whatever you have been doing has not really been working out in your life, then chances are you suck at love. A lot of us who are still single, we suck at love. So if you're, Cindy Lou puts it out there that way, the author of the Four Man Plan. If you suck at love, then go ahead and try this for a little while, which is why she does that.
Right.
Isn't that true? Isn't that true, Paige? Talking to my guest.
It is. It's for people who continue to attract, especially for women. Maybe they continue to date their father. Or they continue to attract bad boys or people who generally are not good for them. Addicts, abusers, different things like that, or emotionally unavailable men, or men who just want sex from you, like players, things like that.
Has that been your experience?
It makes you more. It gives you a scenario to where you can recognize these men, and by the men competing against one another to while you're dating them, qualities like this don't necessarily come out in the beginning. It may take a month for you, and while they're competing and while you're dating different men, you can actually see this, and you can go, oh, that person, that reminds me of my father. Oh, that person's an alcoholic, or that person's not so good for me. And you can choose to not date them anymore, and at least have other people to choose from in your dating plan, so you're not as dependent or desperate or something, because if you just, if you're dating 3 or 4 people and you lose one, it's no big deal. I'll pick up another one.
You don't run the risk of being lonely as you do when you're one-on-one. You might not want to get out of a bad relationship in a one-on-one because you just don't want to be alone.
Right.
Paige, before you did the book, was that your experience just picking the wrong kind of guy or getting into bad relationships?
Yes. More of men who were not emotionally available, men who didn't necessarily want relationships. And like Ricky and I have discussed before, people tend to talk their truth in the beginning, and I don't think that we listen, Like if a guy says, I'm not ready for a relationship, or, I haven't had any successful relationships, there's your red flag right there. Time to get out. Don't waste any more time, date another guy or ask another guy out, or, continually move and improve yourself, and find somebody else who more fits what you're looking for.
Because people tend to speak their truth in the beginning of a relationship, and oftentimes somebody will say, hey, look, I'm not really looking for something serious, and we'll ignore that. Oh, well, maybe it'll be different with me. I'm special, because you are special. Right. But now I got to throw it out there really, really quickly. This doesn't mean that you're sleeping with all of these men either, does it? No, it does not. I'm not sleeping with any of the men in my plan, and it gives you. For women, anyway, we get so emotionally tied up with people that we have sex with, and this gets you to love yourself at a point where you don't feel that you have to have sex with anybody, and you get to see qualities about them that you like and that you don't like before you take the step to have sex with them or become emotionally attached to them. Right. Now, I've listened to the Four Man Plan a number of times. There's certain stages that you go through with each of the men before you hit that stage of giving it up. What I like that Cindy Lou says, and I've used this quote quite a bit, is that a man will treat you as well as he has to get you in bed the first time, or a man will treat you only as well as he has to get you in bed that first time, because that's kind of the goal line. That's kind of like what we as guys physically are designed to shoot for. So
right.
If you like on your second date or first date, boom, you go right to sex. then after that, you haven't really had time to cultivate an emotional relationship or an intellectual relationship. And although sex is definitely another way of communication and a very good way of communication, if you don't build up that other stuff as well, then you're going to find that once everything's done and he's asleep, it's a very short date. So I think that some part of the Paige keeps talking about the competition. It's not like the men are out there and shooting hoops against each other or anything. It's a friendly dating competition. And what you're actually asking these guys to do is step up their game. Look, you're not going to get me into bed right away. You need to woo me. I'm dating other people. I'm fantastic. You need to woo me. You need to court me. You need to date me and show me a good time. Why should I be more intimate with you than anybody else here? Step up your game. And suddenly when the guys realize, oh, this is kind of something to shoot for, those same bad boys that everybody else is seeing, those same guys suddenly will treat that woman, a four-man plan woman, differently. And that's what's fantastic about that.
Right.
Has that been your experience? Sorry.
What?
Has that been your experience?
Men throw women into two categories. You're either a good girl or you're a bad girl. And you're either worth dating because you don't give it up, or you're not worth dating because you do give it up. And it's kind of like a double standard, but that's just the way that men are hardwired. Nothing bad against them. That's, just the way it is. And if you want to find a partner, you have to figure out that, you need to hold back from sex. Like Cindy Lou puts it, even if you have sex, every day or whatever, and you add up all the time, that's still only 5% of your relationship. You need to figure out the other 95% and how you're going to communicate with this person and get along with them, because there's more to a relationship than just sex. Right.
What are you going to do with the other 23 hours and 45 minutes?
Talk about how good the 5% was.
Woo! That was a great 15 minutes, a personal best. Now, can we go out and talk? Oh, you're sleeping again. Damn it.
There's been a couple things popped up here. They're talking about if only teenage boys understood the word courting, which I think is a whole different topic, because you're talking about teenagers in general don't understand the long run, period. I know I didn't. I'm sure you probably didn't. It's when you're a teenager, you're not looking for a partner. You're not looking for a future wife or a future husband. You're looking for somebody to emotionally, or depending on, you either physically satisfy you or emotionally satisfy you, or just to spend time. You're passing time. And so when you're a teenager, you don't have that concept of even dating, because I remember growing up, it was always about going together. You're dating. Really? Where y'all go? Well, nowhere. We're 15. Nobody can drive. She goes to my house and we watch TV. Well, that's not dating. They couldn't tell you stuff about each other. So I think it's just a whole different category than what you're even talking about here with the book. With the book, you're talking about somebody who's as a woman, you're taking yourself seriously to the point that the flip side of it is not so much the competition. I think it also helps you be the good girl, if you want to call it that. So you're not getting so emotionally attached you want to sleep with the guy, or you're not getting, I hate to use the word tricked, because it's not, that's like a malicious term, but not maliciously tricked. But I have had a friend who said, I'm in a bad relationship. I just got out of a bad relationship. I like this guy. I know I shouldn't go there and sleep with him, but it happened. And then, of course, she knew exactly what was going to happen. It happened. She got thrown to the side. It was done with her, and she blamed herself because she knew going over there what was going to happen. It sounds like this system, the four guys, keeps you from doing that, because once you sleep with one guy, you're going to feel like you're cheating on him if you're dating other people.
Right.
But as long as you're keeping on that dating, the real true meaning of dating, that dating level of we go out on dates, we get to know each other, we experience life together in short periods of time, it seems like it helps keep you from doing that.
Definitely.
Cindy Lou's book, she talks about on her website, her book is even being used by girls in high school.
Well, that's a good thing.
From the standpoint to, getting boys to treat them better, or figuring out what it is that they like in a boy, because they don't want to have sex at a young age, but they still want to experience dates and go out and see what it is that they want in a future husband or a future partner.
Right, and learning that you don't use your body as a bargaining tool. Right. Here, you can have this if you'll like me more than Susie. I'll give you, I'll do a lot more stuff if you'll just, be seen with me or pretend you're my boyfriend or be my boyfriend. That's not the goal. These guys should be winning you. You're a fantastic woman. You're a fantastic, or if you're in high school, you're a fantastic girl. You should be treated with respect, but you have to respect yourself too. As I say constantly, it is up to you what you allow in your life. You have to take responsibility for what is going on in your life and for how you're being treated in your dating relationship, in your relationship, everything else. You can't just let it happen to you. It is up to you.
Now, question here, actually in the private room. Well, there it is in the chat room. How did you, Paige, start the 4-man dating? Did you all know each other before, or how did you meet them? How do you go about finding 4 guys to go out with?
You meet people everywhere. I online date and meet people everywhere, and what Cindy Lou tells you is to either have a slip of paper or business cards with your cell phone number on them, and when you meet a man that possibly you're interested in, you just walk up to him and pay him a compliment. I like your suit, or
talk about the day.
You're right. Talk about the day or something like that, and it's very short, very sweet, and you hand him a card, and he can either choose to call you or not call you. That way, the first phone call is in his court, and because it's what she calls collecting quartermen, and it's just about testing the waters to see if they're interested in you or not. If a week goes by, they don't call, again, going back to the book, he's just not that into you. If he doesn't call in a week, he's just not that into you. And you haven't invested anything except for maybe, 10 minutes of your time and your business card. You don't worry about it because you're continuing to pass out your business cards and your phone number to other potential men.
Right. And conversely, also, you have to, if a man approaches you and asks you out on a date, you have to accept for 2 dates. And it doesn't matter if you think he's great or if you think he's not great, because up until this point, you may have been dating all the hottie bad boys, but that hasn't been working out for you, so you suck at love.
Correct.
So you have to try this other thing. Under the assumption that you suck at love, you have to try out this other thing, and you don't know what diamond in the rough you're going to find.
Exactly.
Dating whomever. And throughout the whole book, Cindy gives examples. Charles just pointed at himself. I'm a diamond in the rough.
I got a story to tell, but go ahead and finish your thought.
Cindy points out in her life how she came to each of these precepts and how she came to each of these ideas and how they work. Charles, what's your story?
Well, the flip side of it, as a guy, I met my wife she was working in the ER as a secretary, emergency room at a hospital as a secretary. And she's cute and I was interested, but I had a life plan. I mean, I was in the middle of transitioning things from going from one level of EMT to the next level of paramedic. I was transitioning on getting that so I could get enough money to get my own place and move out of my parents' house and working full time. I had this plan. I didn't want to get bogged down by going out with a chick every week or getting that heavy-duty relationship. I didn't want a relationship, but I wanted to have fun, have companionship. And she was the same way. She's like, I'm done with high school. I'm about to start college. I'm going to go do this degree. She wanted to do 2 different degrees. And I said, well, how about we go out this weekend? She goes, well, I'm seeing this guy, but he's not a boyfriend. And I was like, that's cool. Because immediately as a guy, I went, I think I actually said this out loud because that's the bear crawler. And it's like, sweet, I don't have to worry about you if I don't want to go out. It took pressure off of me. I don't have to worry if she's sitting at home waiting for a phone call. Is she going to be overly attached? It was, you got some other guy to rely on. Cool. If I don't want to go out this weekend, I don't have to worry about it. And it takes that pressure off. And we went like that for, I think she saw me and this other guy for a month, maybe 6 weeks. And then it was done because the diamond in the rough won. Because he was a turd in the woods, I guess. I don't know.
You're talking about yourself, right?
No. Yes, I was.
Yeah. 3 kids later.
Yeah. So, yeah. So
all this is yours.
So it was interesting. Didn't have any idea about this plan, but I could see from the guy's point of view. I can tell you from personal experience, it was easy. Shadow. Oh, the lighting thing's going weird. I'll fix that. But Shadow was saying, I can't date one person, much less multiple people. But the thing is, at least from the book's point of view, it sounds like it's for the girl, for the female to date the guys. And
now the 4-man plan's a little different than he's just not that into you. And I'm more of a subscriber to he's just not that into you, as far as most guys, if they want to ask you out, they'll ask you out. You know, if I want to ask somebody out on a date, I'll ask. Don't ask, you know.
Right. And you've dated. Have you? Well, let me rephrase.
I have dated women.
Have you dated multiple women at the same time with them knowing about each other?
No, you can't do that with women.
Sure, you're cheating.
It doesn't work.
You're cheating on them.
It doesn't work. No,
you're sticking around. No, I'm sorry.
It doesn't work for women because, you know, women are made up differently than men are. Men have a sense of competition. Men will rise to that occasion. However, if you tell women, hey, look, I'm dating a bunch of other women, you will have a completely different experience and not a pleasant one, because that's just not how they're made up. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way it is.
Ricky?
Yes?
Cindy Lou is writing another book.
What's she writing?
Men.
For men? Crap.
For men, because she's had so much reception on her website about the 4-man plan that men want to know if they can use that to find the woman that they need to, that they want to marry, find a good woman to marry. And so she's starting to retool her mathematics and her things to teach men how to date women to find their wife.
Right.
Now, Rock Girl in the chat room, and I got another question to throw out in just a second. Rock Girl in the chat room says, and if you're dating other women, that means he's just not that into you. That is a good generic principle, I think. But I know if you get to individuals, like for myself, the first day I had my wife, I actually went out with another girl earlier that evening, covered my bases, because I'd never gone out with my wife at the time. Well, I guess she wasn't my wife at the time, but you know. So I could definitely see guys who... But I think that also plays into the sexual aspect of it. If the guy's coming over to you and you're dating, like I think we've agreed dating means you're going out experiencing life, not having sex, not getting overly involved. You're just going out and seeing if you're compatible, that kind of thing. If you're dating and he's dating other women, I think that's fair enough. I think you get into that, he's not that into you. If he's seeing you for the 2 a.m. booty call, but he's not taking you out for the 8 p.m. fancy dinner.
Right. Well, if you're really into somebody, I mean, as a guy, if you're really into somebody, everybody else falls away. For me personally, that's the way it works. You know, that's once I get to now, I'm a slow burn when it comes to falling in love, but once it happens, it's like, there ain't nobody else. When that happens. Now, before we go any further, and because we are halfway into the show, it is time. If you want to dial in on this and you want to have a conversation, please, 813-413-7133. We will field your calls and questions.
Now, I'm not sure if this is right for Paige, but this was thrown out in the chat room.
Yeah.
If you're in an abusive relationship, how do you get, and you're terrified, how do you get out without getting hurt worse than you already are?
If you're talking about physically, there are domestic violence hotlines, there are domestic violence shelters that you can go to, et cetera, et cetera. People will help you. If that is really a problem you are having, you can go there on the down low and go, look, here's my situation. Please help me. Don't be embarrassed. Don't stay in that relationship, especially when you are physically being threatened and in fear for your body and fear for your life. Do not stay there. At least get the ball rolling on moving out of that situation. You owe it to yourself. If you have children, you owe it to your children because you're teaching them how a woman should be treated, period. You owe it to them. You owe it to yourself. Get the hell out of that.
I agree. I agree.
That's my little soapbox.
A couple people say that churches can help with that.
Churches can help. You can Google it. Oh my God! Just and if you don't want to do it on your home computer, go to a library and Google it there.
Public library. We support the public libraries, and they all have internet.
If you're really, really concerned about it, you email me mordant@mordantworld.com. I will research it and shoot it back at you.
Right.
We'll show up with the B team and
churches, there's shelters, there's battered women's shelters, there's safe houses that you can go to and take your children to.
But here's the thing. You can't change your mind. I mean, if you're terrified and you're being hurt emotionally or physically, that's what you see all the time in the world, unfortunately, is they make the call and they get out for a day or two and then they change their minds, they get emotionally weak. I don't know how to phrase it, but they go back because of emotional needs.
Right. Well, also, by that time, your self-esteem's been whittled down. Usually there's a lot of emotional abuse, so you think, oh, well, maybe I deserved it. Or
it's not your fault. I just want to be clear. We're not saying it's your fault. No. You don't deserve it.
But it is your responsibility to get out of there.
And not look back. Well,
sorry, Paige.
Sorry. Don't we have a guest?
I think we have a guest, and I think her name is Paige.
What?
Well, we're talking over you. We're sorry.
Women who are abused, and I used to work with a local women's shelter. Most women who are abused, whether it's mental or physical, they have no self-esteem, and so there needs to be something in the organization that they're being helped that is going to rebuild their self-esteem so that they have a sense of, I am worth a good relationship. My children are worth a good relationship. I deserve a good man.
And if you're stuck in this right now and you're stuck with those thoughts right now, please believe me when I tell you your esteem will come back. I've talked to women who were in that kind of relationship, and they were like, oh, yes, I had no self-esteem, but now I know better. It takes a little while, but you will come back. You will find yourself again. You're like, oh, here's the me that I've been ignoring for so long. So
and when you do this, when I say don't look back, it's that whole, you have to look inward. I mean, when you get out, the first night it's going to be the hardest. Well, no, I mean, the first night is probably going to be the easiest. It seems like the hardest step, but it's the second night staying out and the third night staying out. And you have to, because no matter what, you have to get emotional help. You have to get a support group. It's like AA. You have to get somebody you can call that when you say, you know what, I'm weak. I feel like I'm going back. I feel like there were good times. And there are good times. It wasn't all bad. But when you start going, man, maybe it wasn't as bad as I remembered, you need somebody to help you not say, no, he was horrible, but you need somebody to help say, hey, let me help you. Let's get you better first. You got out of there for a reason. Here's the reason you told me. Let's keep it there and work on you.
Right.
All right. Can I touch on this, Ricky?
Yes.
Okay. I am a child of abuse. I had a father who is an alcoholic and who was verbally and physically abusive when I was a child. So I can relate to some of these women, and know that I didn't repeat it from the time I didn't repeat it in any of my relationships, as far as allowing anybody to ever physically abuse me. I did, however, allow some men to, like, maybe verbally or mentally abuse me as I was growing up and dating and things like that. And throughout the years, I did most of my self-esteem building on my own through different mantras and things like that, and just something as simple as looking in the mirror at yourself every day and saying, I love you, and you're worth more than this.
And in the chat room, the girls who asked the question responds back with, luckily for me, I was able to get out since living situations were getting worse. But for the longest time, I felt like there was nowhere I knew I could go. If you're typing and you're interested, I'd be interested to see how you feel now, how long ago it was, how you look back on that, and how you stayed out and bettered yourself.
What was the first step you took too that got you out of that? So
and Paige, to you. obviously you grew up, and how did you keep from repeating that? Because statistically, most girls and boys, even who are battered as children, will find a mate who will emotionally or physically batter them. How do you avoid that?
My father was an alcoholic, and I recognized the pattern right away, and I knew, like what Cindy Lou talks about in her Four Man Plan, to start to recognize if he drank all the time, or if he, any way, shape, or form, cut you down or tore your self-esteem down in any way, that it was not a healthy relationship. And I did not want that for myself. I wanted more for myself and a relationship. And I kept telling myself, mantraing that there was somebody better out there for me, or that I deserved a better life, and that somebody was going to come along. And in the same thing, in energy work, it's called making space for what you want in your life, in holding on to those thoughts and those words of a better relationship, a better life, every day. And, putting it out there, as in the, Ricky, help me out, the attraction.
Law of attraction.
What?
Law of attraction. Law
of attraction, yes. The law, using the book, The Law of Attraction. And another book that I would recommend is Paige Parker's Dating Without Drama.
Paige Parker's Dating Without Drama.
Paige Parker's Dating Without Drama. It's a download. And she's very good at teaching women how to recognize and certain signs and things like that, just like Cindy Lou, and not falling into the pit. And she goes through step-by-step exercises on how to love yourself and build your self-esteem by doing things for yourself every day, not necessarily requiring any money, but, letting yourself have that bubble bath, or go window shopping, write dreams on the wall, continually have something to look forward to and be happy about. If you want to take that dance class or take that yoga class or whatever it is, you need to be the most important person in your life.
It sounds like you had a strong influence as a child, either a teacher, maybe your mother, I don't know, because most people don't learn to love themselves. I mean, we're seeing in the chat room where people are putting up where they had the rough dating past, the abusive past, the bad relationships, and how they get out of it is they learn how to love themselves. I was emotionally abusive to my wife. I mean, you're talking about cutting down the self-esteem. That's what I did for the first 2 years because I had none. And I was pulling her down to my level.
Right.
And I had to see that I was destroying her and see that I was destroying one thing in my life, the only thing in my life that was of any value was the marriage. And actually, I put too much value into it, and that's why I was cutting her down because I was afraid. Anyway, I had to see that to learn to deal with myself, which, simply put, is learning to love myself. You seem to have learned that before you even left your home. I mean, it sounds like you had a role model or somebody out there to tell you or show you that you're worth loving.
My my mother was verbally abusive. Like for the first, it's funny just going back to Bill Cosby, but for probably the first 7 to 10 years of my life, I thought my name was stupid.
Yeah.
And I didn't really cut the ties with my mother until I left her house. And somebody that I had lived with and built a home with was kind of like a mirror image for me and tuned me into how emotionally abusive my mother was.
that I understand that. Actually, was what got me on the road. My mother was very negative and very emotionally cutting, if you will. And my wife, my mom would tell a fat joke about me. I've always been an overweight kid. And I would laugh it off because I thought it was funny. My wife was like, that's not funny. She shouldn't be telling jokes about your weight. That's not funny. And it took somebody loving me when I couldn't love myself to see, like you're saying, to see where the damage was coming from. And that's rough.
Correct. Until he threw it in my face when something would happen and he would go, oh, you're starting to act just like your mother. Or you're turning into your mother. And I was like,
yeah.
You know, it was time to take a look at how I felt about her and how she was making me feel about myself. And I finally had to say, look, I can't come to your house anymore. I can't, because it was like so infective for me.
Right.
And I wasn't a good person when I was around her.
But I mean, even though you grew up with that upbringing, you had to make the choice not to be a victim of that. You still had to take responsibility for your life. We've all been exposed to different things as we were growing up, things that may have cut into us or made scarring or huge divots. It's up to us to go, I choose not to be a victim of this. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say when I was younger, it was something conscious that it was that I did, but I knew that I deserved more and that there was better out there for me. I don't know if it was among maybe my classmates or when I really started to believe in myself that I could do anything that I put my mind to. You know, there's a lot of different things that I think women and men both can do to build their self-esteem. And I think that when you have support, whether it's family supporting you or it's the church or that it's friends or something, that support is very important. And I know from my own stance, my Renaissance friends who are out there and living their dream and doing things, and they thought outside the box, they still do, and they live in an unconventional society and things like that. And so I knew that dreams were possible, and they were achieving most of them were achieving their goals and things like that, and getting the things that they wanted. And I held on to that very dearly, and I held on to those friends, and I still do to this day, even though they're all across the country.
Right. Well, it seems like we've really broadened our topic here, and if you want to call in and take part in any of the subjects we've talked about tonight, 813-413-7133. You can talk to me or ask me anything, Charles. I'm sure Paige will be happy to answer anything for you, too. Now, Paige, do you bringing it back to the four-man plan? Do you think that this is a book that's helpful as far as that self-esteem, building all that up, and as far as getting back into a much more healthy dating environment?
I do. She doesn't talk too much about self-esteem and things like that. Paige Parker does, though.
Right.
I subscribe to Paige Parker stuff, and she really does teach women how to build their self-esteem and how to love themselves and everything along that line. As far as once you're dating and you're dating multiple people and you're teaching yourself by following the plan, I think that your self-esteem as far as dating and men goes, automatically will build itself.
And that's been your experience?
That is in my experience.
Awesome. Now, we have another caller.
It's opened my eyes to a lot of different things about men and about myself. What I'll accept, what I won't accept. Recognizing certain traits in men, stuff like that, and and teaching me that giving it up right away is not the way to go.
Right. Well, we do have another caller on the line, 623. Say hello.
That would be Sunbug in Phoenix, and I have been listening to your conversation, and I am coming to actually recently the point of reinventing myself. I have been listening, and I also came from an abusive household, mentally, physically, and then I met after I was married for 30 years, a man who I thought was going to be the epitome. I grew up with my grandparents who were married for 66 and a half years. It didn't matter what happened. You stayed married. So you did whatever it took. And it took me 30 years of realizing I just married my father. And then I've gone to the realization that my daughter now has done the same. And it's a scary place to be. And it's like, how do you undo what you have just been the role model for?
So you're listening to us through Mixler, aren't you?
I'm sorry?
Oh, you're listening to us through Mixler?
I do sometimes when I have the opportunity. Yes, I do. And I work on a lot of work on myself now. And it's been a couple years, so I've come to... I'm better every day. I am, and I put my affirmations all over the house. Sometimes they're in lipstick on my mirror, and I try to figure out what you were saying the other day. Is this my happily ever after? Today has to be my happily ever after.
Right.
So, and that's what I'm trying to now instill into her. But anyway, I was listening to that chatter, and it was like, yes. But it took me that long, and it took me growing up out of evidently the Depression era to be able to say, wow, maybe that's not what it's really about. You don't have to be subservient. You don't have to be obedient. You can be independent thinking. You can be yourself. And it took me that long. It really did. So power to everyone out there that's beat me to it. But anyway, I'm on my way.
Good. The question you said that you realized you married your father, and now that your daughter has done the same thing, and how do you fix that? Are you divorced? Did you fix that relationship one way or the other?
Yeah, how did you break the cycle?
Well, fix the relationship with my ex-husband. We're better. I don't know if that's exactly what you're asking me.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah. Now that we're not under the same roof, and I am a free thinker, and I don't feel like, literally, I felt like a bad child. I did. No, whatever you're thinking isn't right. You didn't do this right. God, do I have to fix this for you again, kind of thing? No, I'm not that person anymore. But now I have to turn it around and make sure that my daughter is not going to fall into that pattern, because, if life is too short, get out there, make it awesomeness.
What I have found with my children are small. I'm not in the same situation, but I found that my son is afraid of things that I just don't understand. I don't understand where the fear mentality, because I dealt with that before he was even born in myself. But I have found that just being honest about myself, just telling him about what I go through, helps change his life. Because I know the mistake that's easily made as parents is to say, don't do what I did, but they just hear, I'm wrong. And I'm sure you don't want to do that. What do you think, Mordant?
Absolutely. You can't just tell a child, don't do this while you're doing it.
Or even after you've done it.
Well,
after you've done it.
And she's grown and married. She saw it all her life.
Right, because that's not how we're made up.
Yeah, and it's one thing for me to go to a realization now, okay, and I still have half my life, so I'm basically your age, okay. But on the other hand, it's like you can lead by example. Sometimes words fall on deaf ears. If you got too much chatter going on in your head, then all you can do is be the person that other people look at and see greatness in, Wow, this is the way I want to live my life, as by example. So. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to chime in. I don't know. I listen to you guys all the time, and that's the reason I'm not getting housework done.
No, we're very glad that
I
you
want to
did.
say this before I go, and I know all my friends might be listening. And I really, really, really have gotten so much out of. You turned my little world around by letting me listen to you, from a man who's half a bear and a dude in tights. So, gotta love it. Y'all changed my life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Y'all have a good holiday.
Oh, we will. Turkey's coming.
There you go. I can do that too, but I won't because the neighbors will complain.
Thanks for calling.
All right. I'll talk to y'all soon. I look forward to it.
All right, ciao.
Paige?
Paige, you still there?
Yeah, she's still here.
Yes, I am.
What do you think in that situation where it took you, your adult life, took her adult life, to realize what was wrong, and her daughter grew up seeing it, made the same, I guess you would call it a mistake. I don't want to put words in her mouth. But I know if I did it, I would call it a mistake.
I had the same experience.
What would your advice be, Paige?
Well, her daughter took the same path because that's all she knew growing up. Can't be faulted or anything like that. That's why I would say get out as soon as possible so that you don't teach your children that any of that abuse is the correct way to be treated or acceptable.
I think the last caller had it exactly right, because we are teaching by example. And when I say that's the way we're made up, recently my friend Allison Williams, I think I talked about this last podcast, brought up mirror neurons, in which if you're drinking a drink of water, certain things fire in your brain, water. And if somebody sees you, the same thing fires in their brain. So if you're doing that or you smile, whether or not they smile, the same thing fires in their brain that's firing yours, as if they're having the experience. So if you tell your children, do not smoke while you're smoking, well, things are firing in their brains. You're not teaching them not to smoke. You're teaching them to be a hypocrite, if anything, because they're watching you and seeing how you do that. And so if you are allowing a certain relationship in your house, your children are seeing, that's how a man and women should be. That's what love is. And that's how our brain is wired. So you have to be very careful. What you say is not good enough. It's what you do that matters.
But I think here you got to switch the gears from being the parent and being in the relationship, the partner, to being the teacher, which is different than being the parent, because it's not easy to admit fault to your children. It's not easy to admit fault to yourself. And I know the generic mistake that my parents even made was you think you can go in another room, shut the door, and fight, and the kids don't know. And even though the kids don't hear what's going on, you still get the rumblings of the fight. You get the negative energy. You see stuff going on. I didn't realize that my mother put down my father constantly. I thought it was just the house until I got into a fragile relationship. Because we were talking about in the chat room, actually we're typing back and forth about you have to fix yourself before you can have a healthy relationship. And I said, because in my case it worked, sometimes a semi-healthy relationship will help you fix yourself and grow into a healthy one. But it wasn't until I got into the fixing stage that I saw that, wow, my mom is negative all the time in joking manner. And
right.
They still haven't fixed that. But I realized in fixing it myself, I had to be honest with myself. I had to be honest with my wife and with my kids. Whenever my wife and I fight, we do it right in front of the kids because, as you can tell on the show, I am loud. There's nowhere in the house I can go you can't hear me. So there's no going into the garage and shutting the door. You're going to know something's going on. But they hear us fight, and then immediately once we resolved it, usually within the day, now we're actually fairly good. You got to practice fighting to get good at it. I'm telling you now. People who avoid fights, you're asking for a blow up. You are. Because if you practice fight, I'm not saying start a fight. But I practice fighting to where now, even when I've been sitting up here crying because I've realized how badly I've messed something up, and we've just been yelling and screaming, it's that emotional drain, within an hour, we're able to sit down and tell each other in front of kids, hey, I'm sorry I did this. And she says she's sorry back. We're specific about what we're sorry about. And we tell the kids, look, just because we fight doesn't mean there's something wrong. And we took that step. She wasn't comfortable with that. because her family never did. My family never did anything like that either.
That is actually the healthiest way that you can do a fight as well. You
Yeah.
don't want to hide your fight away from your children, because here's the bad thing that happens. They see how you get into a fight. They see that it goes away. They never learn how to resolve it. If you hide your fights behind closed door, they never see, oh, this is how it's resolved. This is how you fix it. Then you come back. All they see is that kind of, look, everything's fine now. And the magic, like the elevator box, bring me to the toyland. You know, you need to see all the stages so they go, oh, that's how it works. Because you're teaching them.
And well, and in this case, my full on, I cannot stress on my full on recommendation is to sit down with your adult daughter and not tell her what she's doing wrong, but say, look, this is where I was in my relationship. And you can't do it quickly. It's going to take time.
Right.
And especially if you don't have the communication relationship that, I don't know what relationship you have with your daughter. If you don't have one where you just talk about everything, you're going to have to build it. But if you want to change her life, you got to sit down and say how you changed yours. You have to admit where you were wrong. You have to tell her what you just told us about how you realize you married your father. I mean, then you got to get detailed, and it's going to help you.
And then you're going to have to let her, you realize as she's an adult, you're going to have to just let her go.
Exactly. All
you can do is plant your seeds and go, hey, this is what I did in my life. But you're not going to change her life. You know, one of the things that I have some friends who are especially one friend that is an alcoholic. One of the hardest things was to learn was, there's nothing I can do for this man. I have to let him go. I have to let him live his life. I can just live mine. You know, they've got to come to that realization. You know, and as an adult, they're going to have to do it on their own. They may see you, it may help, but if you push them, you're just going to push them away at that point. That's my opinion. Remember, this is The Other Side of Live, not therapy, just a voice.
There you go.
Well, I think we've hit our hour mark plus, and we have gone full. Well, I don't even know if it's full circle or what we've done. We've gone from talking about the Four Man Plan by Cindy Lou, which I recommend wholeheartedly. Please check out the book. As always, every book I mentioned, I'm going to say check out the audio version. It's read by her. She's very, very funny, especially with all of her little. The way she says everything, very, very funny, the way she makes fun of herself. Same thing with He's Just Not That Into You. It's read by both of the authors who were writers for Sex and the City, and one of them, Greg Behrendt, is a stand-up comic. Very, very funny. You can find both these books on audible.com or on Amazon if you're just going to get the regular version.
You should go to bearcallingnation.com, search through the Amazon search box, and you can find it, and it'll help out the entire nation, including The Other Side of Life.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Will you say that one more time, please?
Yeah, anything you want. Any of the books we mentioned, any of the links you hear. Anytime you want to go get some new soap for your chores around the house, you can go to bearcrawlingnation.com. There's an Amazon search box, and you search anything on Amazon, and anything you buy will actually give us a little bit back. Yes, do your Christmas shopping. Thank you, Rock Girl. Do all your Black Friday Christmas shopping from the comfort of your home. All you got to do is search through that search box. It'll help us all out. It pays for our internet dues and all the hosting fees and just helps us out a little bit, and we'd appreciate it.
Well, there you go. So check these books out, definitely. And then we've gone from, do you want to say something?
I got one more thing. Are you wrapping it?
I'm moving in that direction.
Okay, well, Rock Girl's doing an awesome thing. One, she gave a cool, you came full zigzag.
I came full zigzag. There you go. I like that.
But she's very ambitious. As of today, we on the Bear Calling Nation fan page on Facebook, we had 136 fans, and she took on the task herself of wanting to break it to 150 by midnight.
Dun,
So
dun,
if
dun.
everyone
What are
would
they up
just
to
help
now?
out, I don't know, is that 137, I think. But we're sharing it on Facebook. If you would go.
Facebook.com/
Bear Calling Nation.
Boom. And the one that says entertainment, right? Because there's like a group and stuff.
Yes,
like that.
there's a group. But it's the / Bear Calling Nation is the fan page. And it is entertainment, yes. Because what's more entertaining than a guy with a bear?
Rawr. So we went full zigzag. Was that?
That was it, unless you want to talk about your birthday for a second.
What? Oh, we'll get to that in a second. We will talk about my birthday, I guess. We did go full zigzag and definitely in a different direction than I thought we were going to. And I'm so happy that Paige was on the show and was willing to share a little bit about her dating process as well as where she's come from. Thank you so much,
I got
Paige.
one last question. Do you feel like it's been working for you?
As far as finding a man that's right for me?
Or just enriching your dating life?
Yes, it has definitely enriched my dating life, and got me to see what's out there and different aspects of men and how they date and different things like that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming on our show. There's been a lot of chatter in the chatterbox about the show, so I think it's been received pretty well. And I think it's gonna. I wasn't sure where we were gonna go with this, but man, it was pretty groovy. I liked it.
It was awesome. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed talking to Paige.
Do you want to know the name of the Patti Stanger book that you mentioned earlier?
Yes. What is the name of the Patti Stanger book?
Okay, the Patti Stanger book is called Become Your Own Matchmaker.
There it is.
8 easy steps for attracting your perfect mate, and it's available on Amazon.com.
Awesome. Now I want to bring up, although we've talked about holding off for sex, I just want to talk about sex for a moment.
Talk about sex,
baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad. I'm sorry. So, although, if you would like to call in and complain, 813-413-7133 for that musical rendition. Although we mentioned about holding out, you don't want to just give yourself away. Sex is a part of the four-man plan. Eventually, you will, you are going to have sex with one person of the people you're dating, and it gets into stepping away from that if you choose to move on to somebody else and all that. If this doesn't really make sense to you, a lot of what we'll be saying about the things that Cindy Lou is asking you to do in the book, check out the book, and it explains. At least you'll go, oh, that's where it comes from. So we're not anti-sex here at all. That being said, Patti Stanger in her book says no sex until monogamy, until you're in a committed relationship. If your goal is a committed relationship, wait until you have a relationship before you give that up. And I was like, wow, that's hardcore. And she says that in her Millionaire Matchmaker TV show, all of that. And I was like, all right, that's pretty badass. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I don't know how well I'm going to do. But anyways, I just want to throw out there, we here at The Other Side of Life are in favor of sex.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up. At this point.
All right, I think we're going to end on that note. You can, what, they watch Glee?
Rock Girl was talking about how we watched Glee. She was waiting for the dancing to go along with the singing. There was a little bit. You just couldn't see it. The cameras aren't right.
Yeah, they weren't low enough. No, we didn't watch Glee today.
No.
Anyways, so bearcrawlingnation.com.
That's where you can find me every Thursday night, 9:30 p.m. for The Other Side of This. I'm the Bear Crawling Nation Live. This is why he's The Other Side of Life. This is the serious, straightforward, we talk about our live show. On that side, I still talk about my life, but there's a whole lot more drinking and cussing and frat house type humor. And it's just fun. It's a good time. And come join us. I mean, even Thursday nights, if you're done with your turkey, check me out, stickcam.com/bear crawling. We'll do it here live, just like this show.
That's right. And The Other Side of Life, it's more a positive look at life and everything that's going on, as opposed to here's all the bad crap that's been happening to us. You can find me, facebook.com/Mordant World. Please find me. Please like me. You can RSS follow me on iTunes and everything. Find us out there, mordantworld.com, etc., etc., etc.
And subscribe on Twitter @BCN Live Now. We'll tell you anytime any of the shows go live. It is a host of, 8 shows?
Yeah.
Right now, a little more than that, but about 8 shows. So anytime Morning goes live, anytime I go live, any of the shows go live, @BCN Live, all one word, we'll let you know. And it'll let you know the specific show, so you can say, hey, on Twitter, you see that tonight, Side Live with Our Morning Mom was going on. It'll remind you to come in if you want to get... that. I'm a professional.
You speak for a living. And very soon, there'll be an app for that.
Yeah, we're beta testing it now. If you'd like to beta test the Android app.
Oh, really? You're going to throw it out to them as well?
Yeah, bearcrawling@gmail.com. If you have an Android phone and you'd like to test that, we're at the end of the beta. We're about to release it into the store.
Paige, is there anything that you would like to pimp out?
I would like to pimp out.
That for yourself. Anything, any business or anything like that, social media thing that you would like people to check out?
My website, www.sensuallyyours.com.
www.sensually, can you spell that?
SCENTUALLYYYOURS. That's how I make a living.
And it is for oils and...
For body oils and incense and organic bath and body products.
There you go. Healthy, healthy. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for Dating Done Right and the rest of it as well. Wow. I don't know how we're going to title this. We might keep it Dating Done Right, but there was a lot more than that.
Paige done right.
Paige,
she carried it, man.
That's right, she did.
No show without Paige.
Thank you again. Turn that page. Thank you. Thank you, Paige, and thank you everybody else who came and tuned into
Special Linda Cochran Schimmelbout on Mixler said thank you for the motivation.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, boys, both so much.
Thank you. Now I'm just blushing. Okay. And on that note.
Your butt looks good, Ricky.
Crap. All right. Thank you, everybody, and everybody who's tuned in to the other side of live. We will see you again in 2 weeks. Until then, ciao, dream catchers.
Hey, soul sister, ain't that Mr. on a radio, stereo, the way you move ain't fair, no. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight.
Can't do it quickly. It's going to take time.
Right.
And especially if you don't have the communication relationship that I don't know what relationship you have with your daughter. If you don't have one where you just talk about everything, you're going to have to build it. But if you want to change her life, you got to sit down and say how you changed yours. You have to admit where you were wrong. You have to tell her what you just told us about how you realize you married your father. I mean, then you got to get detailed, and it's going to help you.
And then you're going to have to let her, you realize as she's an adult, you're going to have to just let her go.
Exactly.
All you can do is plant your seeds and go, hey, this is what I did in my life. But you're not going to change her life. You know, one of the things that I have some friends who are, especially one friend that is an alcoholic, one of the hardest things to learn was, there's nothing I can do for this man. I have to let him go. I have to let him live his life. I can just live mine. You know, they've got to come to that realization. You know, right. And as an adult, they're going to have to do it on their own. They may see you, it may help, but if you push them, you're just going to push them away at that point. That's my opinion. Remember, this is The Other Side of Live, not therapy, just a voice.
There you go.
Well, I think we've hit our hour mark plus. Mm-hmm. And we have gone full, well, I don't even know if it's full circle or what we've done. We've gone from talking about the Four Man Plan by Cindy Lou, which I recommend wholeheartedly. Please check out the book. As always, every book I mentioned, I'm going to say check out the audio version. It's read by her. She's very, very funny, especially with all of her little... the way she says everything, very, very funny, the way she makes fun of herself. Same thing with He's Just Not That Into You. It's read by both of the authors who were writers for Sex and the City, and one of them, Greg Behrendt, is a stand-up comic. Very, very funny. You can find both these books on audible.com or on Amazon if you're just going to get the regular version.
You should go to bearcallnation.com, search through the Amazon search box, and you can find it, and it'll help out the entire nation, including The Other Side of Life.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Will you say that one more time, please?
Yeah, anything you want. Any of the books we mention, any of the links you hear, anytime you want to go get some new soap for your chores around the house, you can go to bearcrawlingnation.com. There's an Amazon search box, and you search anything on Amazon, and anything you buy will actually give us a little bit back. Yes, do your Christmas shopping.
Rock girl.
Do all your Black Friday Christmas shopping from the comfort of your home. All you got to do is search that search box, and it'll help us all out. It pays for our internet dues and all the hosting fees, and just helps us out a little bit, and we'd appreciate it.
Well, there you go. So check these books out, definitely. And then we've gone from, do you want to say something?
I got one more thing. Are you wrapping it?
I'm moving in that direction.
Okay, well, Rock Girl's doing an awesome thing. One, she gave a cool, you can't fool zigzag.
I came full zigzag. There you go. I like that.
But she's very ambitious. As of today, we on the Bear Calling Nation fan page on Facebook, we had 136 fans, and she took on the task herself of wanting to bring it to 150 by midnight.
Dun,
So
dun,
if
dun.
everyone
What are
would
they up
just
to
help
now?
out, I don't know, is that 137, I think. But we're sharing it on Facebook. If you would go,
Facebook.com/
Bear Calling Nation.
boom. And the one that
And-
says entertainment, right? Because there's like a group and stuff
Yes,
like that.
there's a group, but it's the / Bear Calling Nation is the fan page, and it is entertainment, yes. Because what's more entertaining than a guy with a bear?
Rawr. So we went full zigzag. Was that?
That was it, unless you want to talk about your birthday for a second.
What? Oh, we'll get to that in a second. We will talk about my birthday, I guess. We did go full zigzag and definitely in a different direction than I thought we were going to. And I'm so happy that Paige was on the show and was willing to share a little bit about her dating process as well as where she's come from. Thank you so much,
I got
Paige.
one last question. Do you feel like it's been working for you? Do you feel like it's been working for you? Do you feel like it's been working for you? Do you feel like it's been working for you? Do you feel like it's been working for you? Do you feel like it's been working